Green beans are one of the staples in our garden, and as you can see here, our puppies love them just as much as we do. Shelby and Freckles are always nearby in the garden when it's time to harvest green beans, and I'm always happy to share this little snack with our pups. But today, what I really want to talk to you about is how to preserve green beans, the best way to prepare them and how to can them so that you can have green beans all through the year. So the first step after you harvest your green beans is to bring them in and get them really clean. Then you're going to want to remove the strings and snap them into bite-sized pieces like you see here. And then you can start adding them to your jars. Now you can can green beans in pint jars or quart jars, but we like to use quarts for this project. And green beans need to be pressure canned unless you are preparing them as a pickled green bean, kind of like dilly beans. Those are pretty popular in the Amish community, but personally, my family is not a big fan of pickled green beans. So we're doing this kind of the old-fashioned way, and we are pressure canning our green beans today. So all you need to do is fill your jars with your green beans and leave about an inch of space at the top of each jar. Now this extra space at the top is called head space, and it serves an important purpose when you're canning. It leaves room for the food inside to expand a bit, and it helps your jars to seal properly. Now, after your jars are full, you can add water. I add just regular old well water for this. If you're using city water, you may want to opt to grab like a spring water from the store, or you may want to use filtered water as it can affect the coloration of your beans. So adding water onto the beans, and then if you want to, you can also add a little salt to each jar, but I tend to can things without any salt or seasonings, and I like to add those later when I open the jars to actually prepare the food. So I am just adding beans and water to these jars. Then the next step is to prepare for our lids and rings. So after they're filled, you're going to wipe those rims off really well and make sure there's nothing that would prevent your lids from sealing correctly. I use a little bit of a rag soaked in white vinegar for this step and just gently wipe off the rim of each jar. It's a little tedious and it takes a few extra minutes, but it's so worth it, and you will find that your jars seal better if you take the time to do this step. After a quick wipe off of those rims, we'll be ready to add our lids and our rings. Now, if you are looking for canning lids, I will suggest my absolute favorite, and those are from 4 Jars USA. And as a thank you for watching this video today, I have a coupon code for you to get you 10% off canning lids. You can find that link and the coupon code in the description below. So here you see me adding my lids. It's so simple. You just set the lids on top of your jars. Now, some lids do require you to preheat them a little to soften the seals. Always check the directions with the manufacturer. But I have found with these 4 Jars lids, you do not need to boil them first. It's totally fine to just wash them in hot soapy water and then add them to your jars. Once your jars are all ready, you can put them in your pressure canner, and you want to process green beans for 30 minutes in quarts, 25 minutes for pints. And when they're done, you can remove them and let them sit overnight and then store them on a shelf. Here's a look at our final product. So try canning some green beans and see what you think.